Tom Aspinall. He's been out since July of last year. And obviously his fight is not going to be announced, from now until July. So he's going to be out for over a year. Jones says he wants 6 months. But let's be honest. Jones is going to begin the training camp and then have an injury and then not fight. 100%. I guarantee you, because Jones, they're not going to come up to the terms of money that Jones wants. I think he wants 30 million, which rightfully so. You're the goat of the sport. Say what you want about the test and all that. Go ahead. But, I'd say to 80% of the fans, he's the GOAT. Straight up. You got to look at the title defenses, all that shit. Like, not even close. But for me, it's like, we've seen what Chandler's done. Waits out 2 years on, the chance of a super fight. Yes, would this be crazy for Aspinall's legacy? 1,000% beating Jones. 1,000%. But especially, heavyweights aren't even that active to begin with. And then to burn a whole healthy year of your career waiting, I just don't think he should do it anymore. And that's the thing, I don't think the UFC has the balls to strip Jones. So if I'm Aspinall, I'm fighting God. 100%. Do it maybe mid to late summer. Beat his ass. Way better than Jones did. More, convincing fashion. If that's even possible. I don't even know if that is, but still. Beat him so that it looks like Jones doesn't have an impressive resume on heavyweight. Because yes, I understand Aspinall doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to fight. He just doesn't want to defend his interim again. He came back from his long-ass injury to fight Marcin Tybura. Blew him out of the water, no question. Then fought Sergey Pavlovich for the interim. Blew him out of the water. Then fought Blades to defend it. And that's all great. But we're looking at a year off. And the thing is about Aspinall, I'm pretty sure he says he doesn't even want to be have the most title defenses. He wants to get out of the sport relatively unscathed, which is, perfectly fine. That's good on him. But I just don't think he should be burning his career. We've seen what dumbass Chandler did, and it's just worth what? So even if John Jones accepts the fight and the fight goes through, he'll be inactive. And sure, he has smokers in the gym, or he fight simulations. That's fine. But to be under the big lights, minimum, I'd say twice a year. Minimum twice a year for Aspinall. Because he doesn't take any damage. He doesn't cut any weight. And to just burn prime years, because what is he, 30, 31? I get heavyweights can go for a long time, but I don't think Tom Aspinall is in it for the long time. I think the heavyweight division is in such a terrible position right now where, let's say he beats Jones, right? Cool. Jones, I doubt he'd even want a rematch and just be oh, my time's come, blah, blah, blah. So let's say, hypothetically, he does a rematch, right? Then he beats Gone. What then? There's nothing. So if I'm Aspinall, I fight out my contract, because I don't know how many fights he has left in his contract, but if I'm him, I fight Gone, and if John doesn't want to fight or whatever, and the fight doesn't come to fruition, whatever, fight another time, then don't resign. Don't resign, because that's the thing. It's not an anti-UFC thing or whatever. Go box. Because that's the thing. Obviously, he's an MMA guy. He wants to use his wrestling. He wants to use his submissions, all that shit. But look at the heavyweight boxing. I really think Tom Aspinall, out of anybody, he can pick it up real quick. I think he started his career as a boxer. And it's like I said, there's way more money out there. And let's say, even if let's say he doesn't resign or whatever, Ngannou's out there. All these idiot promotions like the PFL or whatever will burn 50 million easily if he wants to stay the MMA road, which is unlikely because I think Ngannou's probably done within the next year or so. But Jones, I think they're going to lock him up. If I'm Aspinall, And that's the thing. UFC is not going to budge money wise because, like, I love Aspinall, but he's not a big star. Like, unless he knocks out Jones, even then, he's so nice. He doesn't have like the. I I've always said this. I wish Tom Aspinall was a bad guy. I wish he was a bad person. It would make the heavyweight division so much better. But no, that is what it is. Like, do I wish he would promote the fights better? 100%, 100%. But at the end of the day, he's not going to change his opinions. He's not going to change his personality. It is what it is. I think he's cemented himself as, like without Jones, he's the best heavyweight on the planet. And Stipe was fucking retired for 4 years and came back. John Jones at this rate, he's going to want to fight Tuivasa or some shit. And I think Aspinall, 100%. You fight Gon, and then let's say Volkov or whatever gets another win. Fight him. However many fights you have on the contract, and don't re-sign with the UFC. But at the same time, don't do a long distance contract where it's like, 3-4 years of boxing or whatever, 6 fights or some shit. Do fight by fight in boxing. And then that's the thing. Once the UFC has someone crazy like, holy shit, he's so good, blah, 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 then, yeah, come back for a fight or two. But I just don't think the heavyweight division deserves Aspinall. I really, really don't. I don't think the UFC deserves Aspinall because, like, that's the thing. I'm a UFC diehard. I don't watch any of the other promotions. But to me, I just don't think the heavyweight division has never been worse than it's been now. And that's not Aspinall's fault. Like, he's running through these guys. I don't think, Aspinall can just sub-zero Gon the same way John did. If not, maybe a little longer, but still. I just don't think there's any competitive matchups aside from Jones. And I don't think Jones is going to budge. And I think sitting around waiting for Jones, the Chandler route, you'll get more rusty. And that just gives Jones more of the advantage because he's just going to be studying the whole time. And that's the thing. It shows that, sure, Jones isn't the fastest, but he has that grappling that's like second to none at those weight classes. But that's the thing. We don't know Aspinall. We don't know how good Aspinall is on the ground because he's never been really tested at the elite level. But yeah, I do not think you should be waiting for John because you're just burning your career away. And at least this way, like, you can stack up a bit of money, whatever they pay him, and just be like, hey, give me more money to defend my interim. I don't care. Whatever. Jones wants to fuck around. It is what it is. But I just don't think that Aspinall is doing himself any favors by sitting on the sidelines. And there's no guarantee of Jones. Jones, same thing with McGregor. Like, is he in or is he out? I don't think Jones really gives a shit about Aspinall. That's evident in the build-up. He always wants to dismiss him and stuff. And maybe that's to drive the fans crazy. Obviously it's worked. But I think Jones isn't scared. He just knows that Aspinall is... To Jones, Aspinall's not worth the risk because that's the thing. UFC, look at Pereira. Everyone was cheering for Pereira. Everyone loves Pereira. Loses Ankalaev. Oh, everyone stopped talking about him. Everyone's like... You should see how fickle these fans are. Like, the second you lose, gone. They don't care. They're like, that's the thing. Obviously, Pereira still has his diehard fans, but not even close to before he fought Ankalaev. And Jones knows that. Jones sees that. Even McGregor, he's the biggest star, but he keeps losing. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, this is the fight game. It's a business, but at the same time, you got to win fights. And Jones wants to be recognized as the GOAT more than anything. And I just don't think, especially, like, Aspinall's not going to build up the fight. He's just going to be all respectful. And I think Jones knows that, like, aside from maybe it'll do well pay-per-view wise, but I just think the pay-per-views have really been struggling, especially the card, like, quality. And I just think that Aspinall really, really, really won't pay out as much as John is thinking, at least pay-per-view wise. So he's banking on the money from the UFC. And I just don't think the UFC is going to budge whatsoever. So yeah, if I'm Aspinall, fight Gon, fight, whoever's coming up next, like maybe a rematch or something. I don't care. Then just hightail out of there, man. Honest to God, you don't need the UFC. The UFC needs you. The heavyweight division is in shambles, especially without you. Who are they going to have as a champion? You're going to beat Gon. John would have been beaten Gon. He's the next best, for sure. And yeah, I just think go box, man. And that's the thing. Like I said, it's not a bash the UFC thing. It's just the talent pool in heavyweight is so barren. You owe it to yourself to go make more money in boxing. And then, like I said, come back later on if they have a superstar. If not, you're good. You know, less wear and tear on the body. Sure, boxing's more like damage heavy, but at the same time, you're not going to be in it for the long haul. Maybe like, you know, two, three big money fights, whoever's the champion at the time. Like, you can just get way more money and way more notoriety in the boxing at this point than the UFC heavyweight division. Like I said, UFC as a whole, awesome. Best MMA promotion ever. But the heavyweight doesn't deserve you. Honestly, they don't deserve you. And just do yourself the biggest favor, man. Go and make the big money. Go talk to Turkey and the Middle East, which I can't believe Turkey isn't, sponsoring this John Jones fight and just getting it signed. You know, because I think he likes both boxing and UFC, or MMA, but let's be honest, UFC. And yeah, make your money, man. You owe it to yourself. And I just feel bad for Aspinall at this point, man. You know, you got nothing. If Jones doesn't, which I don't think he will, really has nothing to prove. You know, there's no one to prove anything to in that division, maybe aside from Gone. But yeah, no. That's my opinion. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.